All right, team, we're going to pick it up again on section 4, page number 36. And it is entitled Developing a Knowledge Implementation Plan. So this is really taking a look at where do we think we need to build our knowledge management system? Where are the areas that we are weak? Where are the areas that we need to preserve the knowledge and use the knowledge more effectively? And now we need to put a plan together. Now, the first thing that we need to look at is what is the role of the manager? So if you are a unit manager, you need to be looking at the knowledge that is created out of your team. Now you need to use that, store it, create it, look after it, make sure that we have knowledge that is being used and utilized and mined and being able to sort of create value. So let's take a look at some of the steps. These steps are quite important because they are going to be part of the portfolio a little bit later. The first thing is that we need to start with a business strategy. Okay, so we need to be looking at the primary purpose of the company is to provide services and products that people choose to buy instead of the company's competitors. Then, when you are spending the time and effort changing the way you work, you must ensure that you understand your business strategy to which knowledge mobilization can contribute. So, we need to be looking at what resources we have and what knowledge we create and what knowledge is important. And if we can do that, then we know where we are moving towards. If we don't have a plan, then we're actually not going to be going anywhere. The second part is that we need to create a knowledge sharing culture. So where does it start? It has to start from the top. We have to get to a point where we are sharing knowledge. We are sharing information. We are sharing ideas. If we're not doing that, then no one in our team is going to do that. So we need to make sure that we are sharing knowledge. Obviously, there needs to be a certain amount of client confidentiality, but ultimately we need to make sure that the culture is around sharing knowledge. Then we need to get the structure right. Okay. So what you'll find is that if there's lots of levels of structure and lots of authority and lots of reporting into one person reports into a higher person, it's very difficult to share knowledge. We have got to get the organizational structure right. And so we often say that we need to flatten the structure so that we work closer with other departments. We talk about silos, working in silos. Now that is created by a structure. So we need to change the structure to crush the silos so that we are able to allow information and knowledge to flow. Then we need to create a dedicated team. So we often create a team that's only function is to see how knowledge spreads and then to be able to take that knowledge and to use it effectively. Now, if we've got a team in, one person from every division, they work together, they look at the knowledge that we've created, and now how do we use that most effectively? That's going to be quite intentional and deliberate, and we're going to see results out of that. Then we need to help people to feel secure. Now, if I share knowledge and people laugh at me or they belittle my idea, then obviously it's not going to be a safe place for me to share my knowledge and my information. So we need to create a sort of a safe place where people can share their ideas, where we are looking after our people, and we need to make sure that that is part of what we do. So help people to feel secure. Then we need to reward those who share knowledge. Now, if you've got ways of recognizing people for sharing knowledge. So if you are mentoring someone, you are a mentor, and we are going to, sort of give you an extra 100 Rand a month even. It adds something. So how do we reward the people that share the knowledge? That's very important. Then step number 7, how do we ensure commitment from the top? So at the top of the organization, are they sharing knowledge? Are they able to say, listen, this is how we are going to become the leaders in knowledge management? They need to set the example. They need to put the structures in place. They need to create the environment. They need to make people feel safe. If they don't commit from the top, then knowledge is not going to be shared. Then we need to work out, how do we capture soft knowledge? Okay, now the difference between soft knowledge and hard knowledge is technical data. So when you unpack system reports, when you unpack shift reports, you're going to get good hard data. How many units have we made? How many quality issues have we had? How many rejects have happened? What is our wastage? Those is very hard data. But soft data is, how does that person cope under stress? What really works when we're trying to motivate people? These are harder to define, but they are very important if we want to move the company forward. So how do we capture soft data? And it says here, soft knowledge, which resides in the minds of employee, is difficult and sometimes impossible to access. We need to recognize that this is vital to share ideas, creativity, and opinions. Then we need to handle technology with care. Okay, so remember, technology is something that can be used to harness knowledge. It can absorb information, it can analyze, it can detect. But if we don't use it properly, then it actually serves no function. So firstly, it has to be secure. So we can't allow anyone to hack into it, to take our knowledge, to access our knowledge. We need to protect our details. We need to protect our confidentiality of our clients and all the POPI Acts and all that kind of things. But we also need to make sure that when we set it up so that it can maximize the value of the knowledge that people put inside. Then we need to maximize employee know-how through active learning. So we need to train people on how to share knowledge. We need to train people on how to use the technology. We need to train people on how to problem solve. We need to also be training people, teaching people, making sure that there are workshops on how to learn effectively. So maximize employee know-how through active learning. Then persist and measure. Now, there are times where we feel insecure, where we don't want to share knowledge, where we feel like we've been laughed at, and those kinds of things. But the truth is that we need to encourage, we need to support, we need to create a positive mindset, we need to back people, we need to give them, sort of our backing to share knowledge. Sorry. And then we need to measure the knowledge that is coming through. So if the knowledge is not being put in the technology, or there's no mentorship, or there's no access to subject matter experts, then we need to measure it to see if we're going forwards or backwards. And if we don't measure something, we're not going to get it. We often say, if you want something, you need to measure it. And if we want more knowledge to come through the system, we need to measure that knowledge and to make sure that we're growing. And then we can share with other companies and get a win-win strategy. Now, this is quite an interesting one. So a friend of mine works for a company called BNI. It is a business networking company. And what they do is they share best practice from different industries. So someone in financial planning might share their sales techniques with someone in production. And somehow it works, and you can learn from them and they can learn from you. Now, if you're creating those kinds of opportunities to network and learn and share knowledge, it can often lead to great results. So share with other companies and get a win-win. Okay, so now we've just spoken about these 12 steps, okay, from start with the business strategy, create a knowledge sharing culture, get the right structure, create a dedicated team, help people feel secure, reward those who share knowledge, ensure commitment from the top, capture soft knowledge, handle technology with care, maximize employee know-how through active learning, persist and measure, and share with other companies and get a win-win strategy. Now, this formative assessment 4.3 on page number 40 is pretty much all those steps, but this is how it's going to work. How would you, as a unit manager, consider each of the following steps when implementing a knowledge management project? From your side, how would you go about going through the 12 steps in your department based on what you know. So just think of practical ways that you could actually implement this. So start with a business strategy. So let's say I'm in training. So I would say, I need to make sure that all the knowledge that we have learned from our clients is going to be stored somewhere so that we can develop programs that can be marketed effectively. Okay, so that would be a really practical way of starting with a business strategy. Then create a knowledge sharing culture. I need to be sharing with my people by telling stories of what has worked in a training session. So that's how I'm going to create a knowledge sharing culture. Then get the right structure. I need to make sure that departments sit down and have discussions and debates with each other so that we can understand what the other divisions need and want in terms of knowledge. Great. That's how we're going to get the structure. Then, how do I create a dedicated team? I'm going to make sure there's one person from admin, one person from marketing, and one person from the training side that work together to create a knowledge management structure. That's how we're going to create a team. How I'm going to help people to feel secure. I'm going to make sure that we have brainstormings and that no one is laughed at or no one says their idea doesn't make sense. So I'm going to make people feel secure that they can share their ideas in a brainstorming setting. How I'm going to reward those who share knowledge. I'm going to create an award for my team for the person that shares the best idea or shares the knowledge of what they have learned. Okay, great. So how I'm going to do these 12 steps practically in my team, in my division, in my organization. So look at those, come up with a practical way, and just go through the 12 steps. All right. Anyone have any questions? All right. It seems like everyone is comfortable with how to go about it. All right, ladies and gents, you will have 10 minutes to complete the 12 steps with practical ideas of how you could create a knowledge management factory out of your team. All right, so as you guys know, end of the formative, which is on section 4, page 41. Please mark yourself according to the two criteria, add those up, give yourself a score out of 100. Okay, so now we're going to develop an operational plan. We sort of have an idea of how we were going to create the climate or the environment where people want to share knowledge. Now we need to have a plan. So these are a couple of the things in the plan. So first one is have a information or content management survey. So send out to all the departments, what kinds of information, what kind of data, what kind of knowledge does your team need? Then take a look at where are the gaps in the according to that data. Then build relationships while leveraging the people and the work that they've been trying to organize in their information and content. So go to each person and say, what knowledge do you have? What information comes across your desk? What data do you work with? And in so doing, what we can do is we can go, oh, so this is where some of the information can be taken from, can be mined. Then we're going to build a what we call a taxonomy and migration plan. So we need to have a map of what kind of information, data, and knowledge we require. Then we need to find that data in the company, and then we need to move it into a place where we can use it. Now, that might be on a server, it might be on the intranet, it might be in files, it might be on notice boards. We need to decide. So when they talk about a taxonomy, it sort of means a map. So we need to have a map of what we were doing and a map of where we are trying to get to. Then develop information and content management processes, roles, and responsibilities. So how are we going to take that information, data, and knowledge, and we're going to put it in a process? And who's going to be involved in this process? And who's going to be responsible for this process? Then we need to build digital communities of practice to keep your core knowledge champions and mentors engaged. So we need to be meeting together, thinking together, brainstorming together in order to make sure that that information, that data, and that knowledge is coming out and we are starting to look after it, preserve it, and use it. Then we need to do then we need to set expectations and objectives for the information provision and use. So we need to say, listen, we need every report to be put on the server. We need someone that's going to pull the data out of the report. We need to make sure that by the end of the year, we have these kinds of things cataloged and analyzed. So set expectations and objectives. Then let people know about the knowledge that we are looking for, the content that we're looking for, the information that we're looking for, so that everyone is aware, so that we can start to pull that data, information, and knowledge. Then, what incentives are we going to give for those that are giving us good quality of knowledge? And then develop constant and consistent communication methodologies to keep people excited and informed so that we keep on mining the knowledge, mining the data, because ultimately we can start really well and people are excited and enthusiastic. But if we don't do it consistently, then we're actually not going to have good data. So we need to make sure that people continue to use the processes and we are able to find that knowledge. So in the operational plan, we need to have activities, role players, when it's going to be done, so timescales, measurements, costs, benefits, and potential risks when it comes to knowledge, data, and information. There are also different roles that people will play. So owners, who owns the knowledge? Okay. Who are the sources of the knowledge? Who are the targets of the knowledge? So in other words, the people that are going to be using the knowledge. Who are the enablers? So they have to create an environment in which the knowledge can be spread. The communities, so what kinds of divisions, departments, teams are going to work together. And then champions. So who's going to be motivating people, cheerleading to get us to bring more data and more information and more knowledge. All right. Then obviously we also need to promote it, because if people aren't going to use it, then again, what's the point of getting all this knowledge together? So every company has got a specific purpose and activity. We've got overall strategic direction. We have a specific organizational culture. There's a specific size of the organization. There's specific geographic spread. We have certain staff with skills and experience. We have an organizational history. We have available resources, and we have marketplace factors. So this environment will dictate what knowledge is going to be needed. And the more complex this is, the more data we will need. All right, so here we go. Now we need to obviously then implement the operational plan. So once we have an idea of what data we want, how we're going to get it, where we're going to store it, how we're going to use it, we then need to do a little bit of an implementation process. So the first thing is we need to identify the knowledge that we require. We need to organize the knowledge we require. We need to take that knowledge and transform it. So remember that every department has to look at that data from a different angle, and they might not need the same data as the other divisions. So we need to take the data and answer the questions that that specific team or division or department or branch needs to answer. Then we need to also measure the knowledge benefits. So what has improved because we have used other knowledge? What has become better because we have used the knowledge? We need to be able to measure that. Okay. Don't worry about that chart. All right, now we have got a value test on page number 47 and 48, which has 5 questions to it. So if we've got 5 questions, we have 7 minutes to do the test. So please, could you answer question 1 to question 5, and then we will see how we did. Just for reference, ICT stands for Information and Communication Technology. So information communication technology really just means your cell phones, your computers, your mainframes, your servers, those kinds of things, telephones. So what should they do? Okay, so here are our 5 questions. Which of the following statements do you agree with relating to knowledge audits? Information and knowledge audits are unrelated. Information and knowledge audits are complementary processes. Information and knowledge audits are the same, and a knowledge audit should always be completed before an information audit. So this is the difference between information and knowledge. So information is raw. It is what it is. It is numbers or statements or figures. Okay. If you know what to do with it and it is able to inform your decisions, then it becomes knowledge. So information and knowledge audits are not the same. They are related, and in fact, they are a complementary process. So information and knowledge audits are complementary processes. Okay. Then, which of the following statements do you agree with? So remember, we said information and communication technology. It should be the starting point for a knowledge management strategy. Organizations should spend heavily in ICT to achieve knowledge management strategy success. ICT should enable knowledge management strategy rather than drive it. ICT is not relevant to knowledge management strategy. Now, if we have computers and cell phones and tablets and software and programs, well, then it is going to really help with knowledge management. Is it the starting point? No, because we don't know what knowledge we need to be looking for, mining, keeping, storing, and using. Should we spend heavily in ICT to achieve success? Not always. You can, if you have a small business, you might not need that much money. ICT should enable knowledge management strategy rather than drive it, or ICT is not relevant. So we've said that's nonsense. That's not right. That's not right. So ICT should enable knowledge management strategy rather than drive it. So it is a help, it is a support. It is not the driver. The people need to drive it. Then the following strategy should be used to bring people together to share knowledge from dispersed parts of the organization. So is it communities of practice, storytelling, e-learning, or corporate portal? Now, in this case, I will accept two answers. The first one is called communities of practice. So if we have similar systems, similar processes, and we're in different branches, we might work together in what we call communities of practice. You also have something called a corporate portal. So a corporate portal is like a internet program where everyone in the company can actually work on it. So it could be corporate portal, or it could be communities of practice, depending on how you look at it. So I'm happy to accept A or D. All right, then, which of the following strategy options will use data from the knowledge audit to help develop employee profiles? Is it e-learning, the intranet, an expert database, or community of practice? So it will take data from the knowledge audit and establish employee profiles. So we take a look at who has knowledge amongst our employees about specific fields, specific areas of the business. And once we've got that from the knowledge audit, we are going to create not e-learning, not the intranet, not community of practice. We are going to use it for an expertise database. And then the last one, which of the following is not part of a knowledge management framework? Developing knowledge, sharing knowledge, creating knowledge, or using knowledge. So in this case, we have to create knowledge. Then we have to share knowledge. And then we're going to store knowledge, and we're going to use knowledge. The only one that is not part of the framework is developing knowledge. Okay. So, anyone get 3 or more out of 5? Good stuff, Sakina. All right, anyone else? Okay, anyone want to debate me on any of the answers? Okay, great. So now we are moving to the last exercise that we have, and that is summative assessment 4.3. So here we go. Complete the following in small groups or individually as per the instruction from your facilitator. So we're going to do this individually. We're in different organizations. Who are the role players that need to be involved when implementing a knowledge management plan? So who are the role players? Well, if you think about it, it's going to be your IT. It's going to be your IT department. It's going to be the unit managers. It's going to be the individual employees. It's going to be top management. It's going to be, and I think for you guys, it might even be your clients that are going to be role players. So any of those is going to be part of your role players. Then, what is the role of the unit manager when implementing a knowledge management plan? What is the role of a unit manager? Now, they do help us here by telling us what the role of the unit manager needs to be. So, the role of the unit manager, they deliver the knowledge management implementation, they lead the implementation team, and they manage the budget. They are also accountable for delivering the project objectives within the agreed time frame and according to the agreed cost and standard. So there you go. In that first paragraph, page number 36, 4.3.1, they give you a very clear understanding of what the role of the unit manager is in the knowledge management process. Okay, so 4.6.1, that will give you a clear answer for question 2. Now, here we go. Develop an operational plan for managing knowledge in your unit. So what I want you to do is to think about how could we actually manage our knowledge more effectively. So we've looked at a whole bunch of things like, putting our SOPs on an online platform, using Teams to brainstorm new ideas, have a mentorship model where more experienced employees can mentor junior employees. There, I've just given you three, but you might have other ones. You might say, you know what, we should have an expertise database. I really think that's a good idea. Or we should have a knowledge map that is on the intranet or on the shared server. Or we must use Teams to put a daily information of what we've discovered over our latest project. So you give me three ideas of what you want to implement that's going to make knowledge management better in your department or team. Then who are going to be the role players? So maybe our department manager needs to make sure that we have budget. The IT team needs to to give us more space on the cloud. And then each individual in the team needs to actually put that information into the folders. So that's the role players. Then the timescales. Okay, we need to make sure that the cloud is functioning within 1 month. We need to make sure that every week each employee is putting the information in the folders. We need to make sure that the unit manager has got a reward for someone who shares the most knowledge. So that's going to be the timescales. Then the measurements. Okay, so measurements, we need 40 gigs of space on the cloud. We are going to need 20 sets of minutes every month to be put onto the shared server. We want to make sure that 100% of all of the recruitment files are uploaded onto the server. That's going to be your measurements. Then the anticipated costs. Okay, extra 40 gigs might cost us 300 Rand per month for that space. It's going to take probably 2 hours a week for the employees to put those files on. So let's say 2 hours times by 50 Rand an hour, that's going to be 100 Rand a week for uploading the files. Anticipated costs, we might need a better Wi-Fi so that we can actually upload them from site. So those are the costs that we might need. What are the benefits? Well, the benefits are that we will be more productive. We will be able to access each other's files. We will be able to make quicker decisions. We might be able to access data from the work site. What are the things that your knowledge management is going to help you guys to do? Be more efficient, create less waste, anything that you guys are going to get as a benefit. But then there's also potential risks. So now if you're putting things onto the internet or things onto the cloud, well, there's always a chance that someone could hack into our information. There's also a chance that someone takes the information and shares it with our competitors or our clients even. What other risks do we have? That someone puts the wrong information up and we use that for our decision making. So there are some potential risks that possibly could happen. Okay, now, question number 4. Describe the steps that you would take to implement an operational plan for managing knowledge. So you guys have just done that in terms of your, so when you did this, your formative section, you guys looked at a whole bunch of steps, okay? Now what I'm going to ask you to do is maybe look at 3 of those steps and put them in as your answer for this question. So for this question over here, describe the steps that you would take to implement an operational plan for managing knowledge. You put 3 of the steps from your formative in there. Otherwise, you could also talk about what we just did in terms of activities. So maybe you say, okay, we need more cloud space to be able to upload folders. We need to make sure that everyone is clear on how to upload. We might need to do some training on how to categorize the different minutes. So anything that you would need to do to improve the knowledge management plan or to create a conditions or environment or knowledge, that is what you would put in for question 4 for your team. Any questions about that? Okay. Now, once you have finished question number 4, then you will show this to one of your team members, okay? And you would say, well, what do you guys think about this? Is a really good knowledge management plan because we haven't really got a formalized management plan. So you show that to them. So you show them the whole of your summative 4.3. Someone in your team goes, okay, so how was the operational plan for managing knowledge promoted? Did this gain your support and commitment? So Yolakazi told me all about the knowledge management plan. I really think this will add a lot of value to our team. It will also make sure that we all have access to the knowledge so we can make better decisions and we can deal with things quicker. And then you would put in your name. You would then sign. The person that has given you that feedback, they would put in their name, they would sign, and then we will date it the date that they gave the feedback. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you are done with module number 5. Now, let me just show you the administrative things that we need to make sure of. That's in your yellow book. Remember, your yellow book is your portfolio of evidence guide cover, and it needs to be put together with your exercises. So you have obviously got all the exercises that you would complete, but this cover is always at the front, just so that when we send them off, that there's the cover with all the administrative information and then all of your assignments and the logbook. Okay, so that's really what is most important. I think, was it Temba? Someone said, just also remember your attendance registers. So if you were given an attendance register with your new file, find the right modules, sign those days that you were attending class, and put that with your submission. In so doing, then there's going to be no recourse to say, oh, well, this person didn't attend the class. You've got your attendance register, your front page of your portfolio of evidence, which is the yellow book. You've got your logbooks and you've got your exercises. Then you will be found competent. Okay, so now let's take a look at what we need to put in. So this is your yellow book. First thing that you need to do is you need to put your name on the front of it. So you are the learner. Okay, so please put your name on the front page. So Temba Chauke, Sukaina Meyer, Ryan Fernandez, Denisha van Sale, whatever your name is. Then your manager or mentor's name. Okay, now Yolakazi, for obviously this exercise, you can choose anyone that's going to act as your manager or mentor. And you're also welcome, if you want to, you can use Sukaina as your mentor or manager if that also works for you. Then participated on training. So you guys have been with me on the, what is the due dates? Sure, this year is just killing me. The 25th and 26th of November. So 25 and 26 November, you guys, that is when you participated on the training. Then the magic will happen, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, you have got until the 19th of January. So you will have the whole of December and most of January to work on this. So assessment guide is due on the 19th of January 2026. Assessment guide, 19th of January 2026. Okay. Then on the next page, you will see something that says complete the learner declaration. So again, what we need to do is where it says learner name. That is your name. So please put in your name as the learner name. Then remember to please sign at the bottom as the learner. Then please could you put in a witness name? So anyone who lives with you, works with you, that's prepared to countersign your information. So please put in their name. That's the witness. Then they must sign at the bottom, please. And then you can use either today's date or the date that you see your witness, and the witness is prepared to sign. Okay, everyone good so far? So it's the declaration of authenticity, and we've done the front cover. Now, the rest of the pages are going to be mainly informational. So you can go all the way to page number 21. So page number 21, again, when you are submitting, please make sure that all of these are submitted. So if you sort of take them out of your file, you go, okay, I've got formative 1.1, I've got formative 1.2, I've got formative 1.3. You just check the list and make sure that you've submitted all of those. Then at the bottom, you can ask someone to countersign that you have submitted those different formative and value tests. Then they date that they have witnessed that you have put those into your submission. Then there is something called a presentation feedback form. So if you do any presentations to any of your colleagues or managers, you would then ask them to just do a filling in under peer 1 of any presentations that you have made to them. If you have not made any presentations, then that's not a problem, as long as we do one presentation for the whole of the course. Right, if you do a presentation, please make sure that you put in the date, your name, and then the person who witnessed your presentation. Then when we get to the summative section, so again, the summative assignments, please again, make sure that you tick all of these things. Did you complete the learner declaration? Yes, you did. Have you completed the logbook pages? Make sure that you do. And then all of these summatives. Make sure that they have all been enclosed or scanned. And so once you have completed all of them, just tick, 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 and then any extra evidence if you have added any. Okay, then this will give you ideas about what unit standards you are covering. And obviously this is 28 credits. So it is quite a few credits in module number 5. And then the last thing that we need to do is remember our phase 5 logbooks. So again, please put in your name, your ID number, the company that you work for, or obviously the lead employer. Your logbook due date is also going to be the 19th of January. You are not the assessors, you don't have to sign, and the assessment date, you don't need to fill that in. But again, just remember, this is an example of how you would fill in a logbook. So the days that you were at work, you would put in your your hours per day. Okay. So over here, this person worked 8 hours on Monday, 8 hours on Tuesday, 8 hours on Wednesday, 8 hours on Thursday, 8 hours on Friday. Together, they gave them 40 hours. This was the week that they went in. Then next to all of the criteria, they would have chosen 5 or 6 that they did in that week, and they would tick it. They'd talk about the scenario and what was the result. Now, over here, it is very much linked to what we have spoken about. So you would put in the date. So let's say you go back to work on the 1st of December. You'd say 1 December to 5 December 2025. You worked for 40 hours that week, 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. Then did you investigate and analyze the status of the learning culture? So maybe this week you did because you're more aware of it. So you tick. What was the scenario? I've realized that 9 of my colleagues are on training. What was the result? I believe that we are all sharing ideas and we are all helping each other through the studies. Great. Recording the results of training plans analysis. Yeah, we also did that tick. We looked at the training needs analysis of our team. What was the result? We are going to start planning training and workshops. So again, 5 or 6 of these outcomes, you would tick, you would tell me the scenario, and you'd tell me how it ended up or what value it added. At the bottom, you remember to sign and you ask someone to countersign as the witness. So for this one, you have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Okay. Everyone, good.
I'm sorry, Ryan,
Yes?
do we need to fill in all those 5 sheets?
So what you would do is you would fill in the 5 sheets, but you
Hmm?
don't have to do all the criteria for the 5. So
Okay.
just choose 5 for that week, 5 for the next week, 5 for the week after that. The important thing is that you put in the dates and the hours. Those are the things that they really are looking for. And then to make sure that you've got the signatures at the bottom, and then 5 of these. You don't have to do all of these every single week. You just look at what have I actually done during this week. You tick that, explain the scenario, and explain the result of only about 5 of the criteria. So in a perfect world, you would cover all the criteria, but over a 5-week period.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions? That was a very valuable question. Yes, Caroline.
There, I still maintain that these space it's so small for us to put anything in, and I'm speaking for myself here when I say this. Honestly, from the onset, I haven't been completing this, so some
Okay.
of this information I'm probably going to thumb suck when I submit, especially the hours, because I don't have
Okay.
time to count. Okay, cool.
Mm,
How many hours did I
mm.
spend on this? Or yeah,
Yeah.
or
And Caroline, that's absolutely fine because I mean, you probably work a very consistent weekly schedule, don't you?
um, consistent. If you mean crazy, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So yeah.
Skeleton every single day.
Okay. So
Yes.
pretty much what I advise is you just put in 40 hours, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Don't even overthink it. With the scenarios, obviously, sort of try and make it as realistic as possible. At the end of the process, they will come back and they will go, have the logbooks been done? But they are definitely not going to be looking for the particulars. So if
Okay.
you put 7.75, it's not going to help you. Rather just go 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. This is what I think I did this week, but you don't
Okay.
have to go into the details. Um,
Awesome.
and and I totally know that if these things are too small, then write over
Mm.
2 of the lines if you need to, as long
Cool.
again as there is writing, because the
Yeah.
verifier goes, is there writing? Did this person apply their mind to the logbook? Yes, they
Yeah.
did. It's big. It's not in the lines, but we don't care because as long
Okay.
as you've applied your mind,
All
that's
right.
what they want to see.
Super.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
cool. All right.
Cool.
So logbooks. Okay. Yolokazi, you've had yours answered. Anyone else? Sakana, you okay? Okay, Timba.
No, I'm fine on my side.
Okay. So Timba and Denisha, we will be sending you guys mails just to work out arrangements for the pickup of your portfolios, the ones that have been signed off already. And then Sakina, I will keep in touch with yourself and Yolakazi just about when you would want me to pick up from you guys. And then Caroline, I think you were found competent for module 1, eh?
Yes, and I'm way behind with others, but I will
But-
play catch up.
but you
Very
did-
soon I will be on par with my peers.
Correct. And you did send me a question about one of the videos, so I know that you are engaged.
I'm actively working on it.
Yes.
I'm almost done. I hate project management, just so that you know in advance, and I'm probably not going to do great in it, but it's cool as long as I can complete it.
Correct,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so when you have scanned that in, then I will make arrangements to have it picked up from you in Bloom. All right.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Okay. Sakina, question from you.
Hi, Ryan, have you updated my email address with the assessor?
I
I
did.
still haven't received anything via email or so.
Not. Just wait, Sakina. Just wait. Sakina Mayer. Okay. Have you not got the results of your first 2 modules?
No.
Okay. Well, Sakina, I'm going to send it to you right now, and I'm going to just put the assessor's details in so that they know. What's Sakina? Just give it to me quickly again. Sakina1991@gmail.
Correct, yes.
Okay. I'm sending it to you now, and
Okay.
I'm going to send the assessor the change. But you were found competent in module 1 and module 2.
Okay.
Okay, and they are working on module 3 and module 3 at the moment.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Ryan.
Timba, question from you.
Yes. Can I please ask about my module 3 because I know I submitted it late, so I'm not sure. Is there any feedback or status on that one?
Okay, I'll tell you right now. Timba, I hope this finds you well. Submission 3. It was sent through on the 17th of November. It has been received, but you would only probably get feedback in the first week of December. So
Okay.
they normally have 21 days turnaround time on that.
Okay, and secondly, can you please also add Mohale on the package list?
Okay. All right. So Mohali
Because
as well.
we're on the same floor, so
Okay. So then if
Yeah.
they pick up you, then they can pick up
pick up
Mohali at the
him.
same time.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I will add that. So Timba and Mohali together with Tanisha. Okay, perfect. I will get them to make arrangements. Okay, and Sakina, is that a new hand or is that the old hand? Right, so I'm going to assume it's the old hand. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your input and your cooperation. Yes, Yolakazi.
I'm sorry, Ryan. Shukina does not get the invites when you send them. I always forward it to her. Do you have the email or the assessor is the one that's sending the invite for the teams?
So it is normally the administrator. So I'll have to update everything. Okay, and then okay, what I'll do is I'll send you guys a WhatsApp as well, just so that I can double check that I have exactly what you guys need.
Okay.
But is yours coming through, Yolakazi?
Quick question. I hear people asking about the results. When we're done submitted, do we get the actual results, how much you achieve? Because I haven't received that, even though I'm competent on all 3.
Yeah. So what happens is you get the provisional competency,
Mhm.
then they receive the hard copy of the file, and you would get what we call a statement of results. So so that would be at 50%, what we call 50% moderation. So probably the beginning of January, you will get your
Oh.
statement of results with the credits that you have accumulated. And then there is also a, from what I have heard, and you can chat to the project manager, but there is a incentive for completing 50% of the program.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Okay, all right. All right, so thank you very much. Look after yourselves. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and I probably will not see you before Christmas. So have a wonderful Christmas to those who celebrate, and for those who might, just enjoy the festive season and the new year. So yeah, be blessed.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Even though I feel that the first session, honestly, that was a flippin' fantastic session. Ever since now, it's just audio.
Yeah. It's yeah, what we found out is that it's with the videos. If I don't do all the talking, then yeah, they don't always get all the audio through the interaction and the discussion. And
Okay.
so there's probably about 7 people that are only on the videos and only so yeah, it's been such a difficult process. I would love to do more discussion. I would love to do debates. And I think, yeah,
It was
somehow
more engaging. I don't want to lie to you. I'm
No,
falling
no.
asleep out here. I
No,
really don't want to
absolutely.
lie to you.
No. Thank you. Your feedback is very clear, and your feedback makes a lot of sense. And I would far prefer to facilitate in that way. But I also
Yeah.
got the feedback from some of the others that are doing it just via video,
I
and
know.
they said it was too distracting. And so, I've
Mm.
had to adapt. But Caroline, I will take that into consideration, and I will try and find a methodology that works for you and for the others. But yeah. I
Thank you,
will
Nat.
stretch
Let me
myself.
just finish up here. I appreciate it. And I will send you my stuff. I'm sorry, but
No,
at the moment in Free State, it's only myself and my manager that is doing recruitment. And
Sure.
we have about 5 or 6 solar projects already. So
Gosh.
everybody just wants people every single day. And sometimes I'm barely managing my own personal life. By the time I get
Sure.
home, I don't want to do anything except be a mom
I
and
can
sleep.
imagine.
So
can
I
imagine.
do apologize that I am so behind, but I will catch up.
Great.
All
And
right. So
thank you for that.
thank you so much, and
Thank
do
you,
have a
Caroline.
lovely day further. Bye,
God
sir.
bless. Thanks, Abe. Bye.